Hey, Chief Bowman, thank you for coming in early on sudden call. We're ahead of schedule, which is good. So we listened to Public Works and Administration and a few others this morning. So we kind of moved you up on the schedule. I just want to remind you, we are live streaming. Okay, so the floor is yours if you're ready.
You have to give me just another couple of minutes. I'm just waiting for my computer.
In the meantime, council, look at, it's on page 12. And we discussed bylaw, but it wasn't much in bylaw because mostly it's 60-40 on the salary, so I think there was no questions on that. So it's just fire.
Almost there. All right, Your Worship, if
Yep.
there you go. So normally, Your Worship, I have a extensively long PowerPoint presentation. I know last year I was asked to tone it down a little bit. So this year I don't have a PowerPoint presentation. I believe you've all been given the budget ahead of time, so I'm sure the questions are lined up. So I've got a little discussion, or not discussion, but a little, not speech, but presentation, I guess, and then I'll take questions. Okay. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to present council with Augusta Fire Rescue's 2023 budget. Our officer team, Deputy Chief, and I have worked extremely hard to present you and our residents with a budget that reflects the realities of today's costs, inflation, and regulatory requirements while making every effort to provide the services with a minimal, if any, tax increase. We have a few pressure points on our budget that I would like to bring to council's attention. First is fuel. Fuel has increased approximately 55% in the last year, which has resulted in a significant increase to our budget. To assist in minimizing fuel consumption, we have an operating guideline which determines which vehicles and stations respond to what emergencies, so that we do not respond with all vehicles to everything unless absolutely necessary. We are continuing to investigate other avenues to conserve fuel in the future. Building and property maintenance is also increasing, much due to inflation on supplies and contractor costs. Some yearly maintenance costs have increased substantially, such as maintenance on generators and compressors to ensure compliance with CAN-ULC regulations. On July 1st, 2022, OREG 34322 firefighter certification took effect. This regulation provides minimum certification standards for all Ontario firefighters and is based in whole or in part on NFPA, National Fire Protection Association qualification standards. All municipalities must ensure their current firefighters meet the first part of these qualifications by July 1st, 2026, and ongoing within 36 months of new recruits being hired. These professional qualification standards are generally accepted as the best practice for the fire service. This certification will result in an increase within both of our honorarium and training budgets. The intent of this regulation is to hold the fire and life safety of Ontarians and its firefighters at its forefront and support all measures to improve the fire and life safety of all. We also know that our council holds the lives and properties of our residents to the highest priority. The level of training firefighters certified to must match the level of service as described in each municipality's establishing and regulating bylaw for their fire department. The service levels provided in Augusta Township's establishing and regulating bylaw matches the definition of full service fire department in the regulation. This means we must continue to offer the following services to our residents: interior, exterior firefighting and rescue, auto extrication, and hazardous materials response. Now that's not the response where you see everyone in State Puft Marshmallow Man suits. The training that we would have to take for that would be so that we can respond to fuel spills, propane, natural gas leaks, carbon monoxide leaks, and the new one on the agenda for everybody is lithium-ion battery fires, which are emergency vehicle or electric vehicle fires. The certification also requires that some members take additional courses, such as instructor courses or officer courses, inspector, investigator, and pump operations. It became apparent to us that a training regulation would be introduced as far back as 2014. The Ontario government introduced grandfathering as we transitioned to NFPA, and Augusta Fire Rescue took advantage of the opportunity to grandfather as many firefighters to these standards as we could, and have encouraged other members to obtain their certification since 2014. This has resulted in over 70% of our department already achieving the certification standard for full service firefighters. We have compared 3 different options to provide the required training to our firefighters. One is to attend a regional training school, or regional training center, sorry. 2 would be regional training centers providing off-site delivery here in Augusta, which gives the added bonus of our recruits being taught on our own equipment and vehicles. 3, provide the training ourselves using an Ontario Fire College learning contract. This comparison included wages, manuals, food, and transportation. All 3 options were remarkably close in terms of cost. To not burn out options 1 and 2 are our preferred choices. This is because we believe option 3, which would be training ourselves, would result in the burnout of our instructors due to the instructors having to add an additional 200 plus hours a year to their schedules. And to not burn out our new recruits, and to meet the 36-month requirements and spread out the costs for our municipality, we plan to have the recruits attend one of each of these 3 courses each year over the 36-month requirement. For one firefighter to become certified in the 3 courses will cost approximately $11,000. We have looked for ideas on how to reduce training costs, and we have come up with 2 options. We are trying to hire graduates from the pre-service firefighter program at St. Lawrence College that live in Augusta or with reasonable response time. As they become fully certified, in our latest hire group, we were able to hire 2 members this way. Secondly, we believe that we continue to invest in retention of our firefighters will reduce the need to have large hire groups. Over the last 5 years, to assist with retention, we have switched to hourly paid wage system based on training and experience, increased our accident, sickness, accidental death and policy for firefighters from on duty only to 24/7. This year, an announcement was made by OMERS that part-time employees must be offered OMERS as well. And we believe this will again assist in retention of our firefighters. We investigated medical benefits this year for firefighters to assist with retention, but with the OMERS announcement, we feel benefits should wait till 2024 to assist with budget restrictions. If council is interested in the quotes to receive benefits for possible inclusion in this year's budget as a further step in retention, I can provide that information. We believe that if we can promote that we offer hourly wage, WSIB, paid training, accident sickness policy, OMERS, it will encourage people to join and firefighters to stay, as they may not be receiving those in their regular job, which will reduce our training costs. Due to the increased training costs, we also looked at the budget to find cost savings. After much discussion, we found that we could provide savings of approximately $52,000 by discontinuing our first responder medical training. Much of the first responder training duplicates what our firefighters already learn in fire or first aid, basic life support, CPR, AED, oxygen admin, and airway training. And without this additional first responder training, we would still be able to offer the same level of medical service and care to our residents. Again, these savings of approximately $52,000 would result in no decrease in medical service or response to our residents. We have also not included transferring money to our building reserves this year. In 2022, we transferred $59,409. 2022 has been, and 2023 will continue to be exceptional years due to COVID, inflation, and a possible recession. We feel that by not transferring money to reserves in 2023 and discontinuing our medical first responder training, we will save over $100,000, not reduce our service levels, and assist our residents in these unprecedented times. Thank you, Council, for your continued support for our firefighters. We will continue to provide you and our residents with the utmost service and professionalism that you know and expect from Augusta Fire Rescue. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to any of your questions.
You always look at me first, thanks. I have a few questions, Chief Bowman. One thing that's a little confusing is a fire protection grant, and it's an expense. Is it a grant that we give out?
Fire protection grant.
Yeah, it says fire protection grant, 210,000.
No, that is our honorarium and our wages for our firefighters.
Okay,
It's just, sorry, through your worship, that's, our honorarium for our firefighters, that has just always been called that.
okay. I thought that was its salaries. The salaries is just your staff,
Correct, sir.
yourself and staff at the fire hall, okay.
Correct.
I mean, I agree you need the training. It's something you have to. No way we want to send somebody in the fire that's not trained. But is there any way that as council, we could put a resolution together to make firefighting an apprenticeship or something along that lines? Or at least get the government to pay for it? Because they're mandating it. They should be the ones paying for it, but unless it comes through an apprenticeship program.
Through your worship, I absolutely agree that the Ontario government should be footing some of this bill. I know you weren't on last council, Deputy Mayor, but when they closed the fire college, I was one of the first chiefs to say how displeased I was with that, because it took another option from our firefighters to get trained at a low cost. And in fact, what they've done is basically added more costs. So as far as making an apprenticeship, I would support council if they want to do a resolution for that, you know, and present that to the Ontario government.
Yeah, okay. And on your vehicles and oil, do you partner with the Public Works Department on your when you bid for fuel? Is that together, or do you have to do yours separate?
Through your worship, that is together. We do have a separate tank.
Yeah,
We just received that, but it's all being together. It's all together with Public Works.
Okay, good. And then the other question I had is you don't have anything in here for provincial repayment and interest. I mean, that's just the repayment for the new fire hall, right? Just the figures aren't in there yet?
Yeah, that's, your worship, that's on the capital side. It is
Oh,
for
okay.
the repayment.
Yeah, okay. So it was in on,
Through the chair, yeah, if you look on the fire protection, Station 1 loan repayment, we've listed it as a capital item, so basically that was the actual.
Yeah.
So that would be, they should add up.
yeah, okay. And the other thing that I think I've had a discussion with you, Chief Bowman, that is, I think if somebody has, because a lot of the calls are now for accidents, not as many for fires. I think the accident should cover the cost of the firefighters. And I know that kind of been a policy, if you're living in Augusta, you don't get charged that, but it's insurance that's covering that, and the insurance, when the rates go up, they go province wide. They look at it that way. And if somebody's at fault, their insurance should pay. Same as if it's a fire, if it's an arson, that person should pay the fire call. If it's an act of God or whatever, that's different.
If I may answer your worship, Deputy Mayor Winans, yes, we do charge for MTO calls on the 401, and then on back roads such as our county roads or our municipal roads, we do charge MTO rate as well. Currently, it's only for non-residents or non-landowners. So if council would like me to revisit our bylaw concerning that, I definitely can.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see what the implications would be if it would bring in more money to reduce some of the other costs. Because you do need more training and you need more firefighters, so then, I'm not saying take it out of your budget, but it just could be put in a different line.
Through your worship, correct, and it's just, that's another line, some more revenue to offset the costs, absolutely.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
If I may, your
Yeah.
worship, it's not a question, but I know the Deputy Mayor did have a question for me from the capital meeting in regards to putting away money into reserves. I'd just like to answer that question if this is the time.
Yep.
So we could, lower the amount. So in 2023, we're asking for 134. Next year, I have in the plan for 175. Again, I have a spreadsheet here that calculates based on the cost of trucks and inflation on how much the trucks cost. However, if we do reduce it, it's, so we're asking for 134 this year, 175 next year. If we have to bump it back up next year, it'll be, so for example, this year, 1% is 56,000. Next year, it might be as much as 2,000, or 2%, sorry, to get caught back up.
Yeah.
So we absolutely could, but we'd have to catch back up because again, as I explained to council, Next year, I will be here asking for a tanker to replace one of our older tankers, so.
And I just wanna point out to council, this is where the asset management plan comes in. Again, you know, not only public works, but fire equipment too. So there's no, okay, we know now in 2025, we will need to buy something. And the chief doesn't have to really sit on the hot seat and explain why.
So just one.
You know, so, again, there's a lot of things for that.
No.
Yep.
I made Chief Bowman
Yep.
a very good budget, and I'm pleased that you could, you know, save us 100,000 in a tough year, and that, and especially some stuff that a little bit of common sense, so. The savings on, training for the safety courses, which you're already doing in the other part, yeah, no, very good.
So that would mean you'd cut out for example, an organization like the Red Cross, and you're just doing the training in-house from your different courses. Is that what I understand?
Your worship, so currently, the way this all came about was that when we first started the first responder program 20 years ago, we were told, and we were told you take this 40-hour course, it's good forever, you don't have to refresh it, all you have to do is make sure you do refresher courses on your CPR and first aid, etc. We've come to find out that that is no longer the case, and as of this year, we've cut it. But we would have to take that whole first responder course, every single firefighter, and that's another 40 hours, which would have cost, when you include all the costs of wages, etc., $52,000. And then ongoing, on the third year, you have to do a 20-hour refresher, and then the next, 6 years later, you have to do another full course. So we really looked at, do we need this? And our current training, which is right now, is currently offered by Heart and Stroke, I think, Heart and Stroke. You know, we, probably 95% of what the first responder course does, we do with these other courses. So, you know, we said we can just, and we can still offer the same level of service to our residents.
Okay. Everybody's happy? Fine, it's going quickly. Maybe the CAO is gonna have a question, I think.
Oh,
One or the other.
yeah, you can put that first one, but one is good.
Okay, well, you're going to, Chief, unless you haven't got anything else, yeah, thank you for coming over. Things are moving quickly today.
Really quickly.
Do you want to speak about Bible?
Sure. Through your worship, I've just been asked if I could quickly speak about bylaw, if that's okay.
Yeah, we didn't see much to it, but. you can
There
speak.
isn't much. I just want to say I did invite Samantha to come today. Unfortunately, you know, she's got some calls that she's out on. So I just want to say that, you know, we've been using SAM for a couple of years now, and it's working out very well. You know, I've instituted some policies with SAM, for example, that you know, anybody that calls for a bylaw-related complaint gets called back within 24 hours, or on the Monday if it's called back on the weekend, just so that people at least know that we've heard them, and you know, we're working on their problems. And you know, I'm very happy. I think we just had a couple of the last week come up, maybe 7 approximately open. So you know, I'm very happy with the way bylaws going. I haven't received any complaints from residents. And, you know, with our arrangement with Prescott, where it's a 60-40 split plus travel, but it has been working very well.
Yeah, seems to be, so, the collaboration between us and Prescott is good.
Well, I like the bylaw mileage. 0.
Okay, sure. Sorry, you had a question?
Well, I just got a question up for Steve on that same page. Protective policing, we're down. Any reason for that?
So,
Go ahead.
No, it's just the invoice that has been received from the provincial government has basically decreased the costs. I think that there was some adjustments made for calls and office space. Every year there's a shared office space, and I know that they've kind of adjusted the amounts, but we basically pay a monthly invoice to the province. And just so happens that this year the invoice came in
I
less
was
than last
expecting
year.
to see that higher because of the gas costs.
So they, excuse me, your worship, so they estimate our billing based on their provincial average calls, and then they reconcile. So this year, the adjustment is from 2020, I believe, is the 2020 adjustment that's just hitting our 2023 billing. So that's kind of, they're 2 or 3 years behind in actual. So if the actual calls are substantially higher, then of course our bill would go up. In this case, our calls were down, so our bill went down, which is great, $20,000.
Okay, anything else for fire again?
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So your worship, the only remaining
All we have is library?
is library left on there. I'm not sure if there's any other questions or any other areas that would like to be revisited. I don't know.
Excuse me, through your worship, I did step out to call the library and ask if they could get here a little bit earlier. So they are gonna try for 1:30, but that's the earliest they can get here.
Okay, well, I guess we'll conclude then. 1:20.